Y'all, I did not think I was going to be making a video today, let alone this. Hi, I'm Caitlin. I am a writer documenting my entire process to becoming a published author, and I'm officially working on draft 2 of my first novel. If you like My Lady Jane or Renegade Nell, you might like my novel Sir Kellen Grey's Final Lament. But we are not talking about my novel today. No, we are talking about the new Hunger Games novel, written by Suzanne Collins, who is arguably the gold star standard for the sci-fi dystopian genre. And I, like every other diehard Hunger Games fan, pre-ordered the new Hunger Games novel, and it is currently sitting in my Kindle library waiting for me. And for some reason, I woke up and decided that I wanted to film my reading reactions. I also wanted to talk about my experience with reading as a writer and whether or not we should be turning off that working part of our brain as we are just trying to enjoy media for fun, or if it's even valuable to turn it off. Before we get started, I am going to make some breakfast and some coffee, and then I am going to see you right back here momentarily as we get cozied up for chapter 1.
Days go by, passing time on my life, waiting in this room, pending doom. How can I bloom? Sitting in this room, I feel the pressure in my head, pounding. Heartbeats flutter as I feel the water in my lungs, drowning. I don't know how much you've been told, but I know I'm letting go. So I'm holding out for gold, holding out for gold. Just one chance to take my life. I know that I will have to fight. So I'm holding out for gold, holding out for Sitting in this room, I feel the pressure in my head, pounding. Heartbeats flutter as I feel the water in my lungs, drowning. I don't know how much you've been told, but I know.
I'm already slightly miserable. This isn't going to be much of a spoiler because it is right within chapter 1, within the first couple pages, but Haymitch is making alcohol illegally, and obviously this is a very key part to his character later in the series, but there's this line right here that, it really got me. He's working with someone and she says, "Happy birthday, Haymitch. I figure if you're old enough to make it, you're old enough to drink it." And Haymitch says, "I have to agree, and though I'm not a drinker myself, I'm glad I get the bottle." Stop.
Holding out for gold, just one chance to take my life. I know that I will have to fight. So I'm holding out for gold, holding out for gold.
Okay, I just set up for a time lapse. I don't know that it got any of that, but literally the next pages. Holy crap. Holy crap. Okay. Okay. Y'all, I am barely into the book, and the amount of connections that Suzanne has made within the first couple pages is insane. And I will say, if you haven't read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, you need to. Well, I don't know about need to, but I mean, that opinion might change. But I do think all of these little hints and reveals that she's doing is just so good, so good. Guys, I don't know how I didn't just put this together until just now, but Haymitch's birthday is on the reaping. Like, that's literally the opening line of the book, and I didn't even think about the implications of that for the future. Oh man. Shut the fuck up. Suzanne, you cheeky little girl. don't even want to tell you. I want you guys to figure that one out on your own, but it's up here. It's up here for me. I'm gonna pause and make a second coffee, which is probably not wise, but that's kind of where we're at already. Just got to the part of the reaping. I'm sorry, what? Okay, all right, well, we'll see. I'm sure it'll make sense. I just love that we're having all these sweet little, hey, shh, just for a minute, dang it. I absolutely love that we keep having all of these little name drops. You're kidding. I'm sorry, can we do that? What the hell? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hey, Plutarch. Sorry. It's not funny. It's not funny. I get up for 2 seconds and my spot was stolen. Aw, I just got to the part where they mention who the mentor is. Guys, what the hell? We got the first mentor and then we got the second. Emmanuel. Okay, I do have to stop and get ready for work now. But I will see you tomorrow and or tonight as I continue to read, and I do have a few thoughts about my transition from reading as a writer versus reading as a reader, and I will share all of those with you at some point. Guys, I'm scared. Brother. Holy moly, you guys. It's only like 8:35 and I'm going home because I don't know if you can tell, we just had a whiteout blizzard come out of nowhere. So yeah, luckily I live very close, but holy moly. Okay, I'm gonna drive home safe, and the good news is that I get to keep reading after this. My shoes untied. Oh man. Hello. It has been a few days since we last chatted, and admittedly, I have not gotten much further in the book than when we last left off. On Wednesday, I ended up writing all day, which is really great, and then Thursday, I did a few reading and writing sprints with my friends Ande, Brielle, and Alyssa, and now it is Saturday, and I'm currently dog sitting, which is a really great hack if you want to get paid to read and write all day. In my head, we did end up reading the entire book together, but because it has been a week and I'm only about halfway through, I do think I'm going to pause the video here. I would love to talk a little bit about reading as a reader versus reading as a writer before I go. As I have been in the thralls of writing my own novel, the books that I am picking up tend to fall in the similar genre, which for my case would be fantasy, and I find myself reading more consciously and picking out line level things. And that doesn't mean that I'm not getting pleasure out of it the way that a reader would get pleasure out of it, but I am a little more conscious of certain words that are used, or characters' introspection, or how a chapter is sort of laid out. Because I think in some way I'm trying to mimic that, which I think a lot of writers do. The main advice that you get for writing a book is that the only way you can get better is by writing and reading. But when should we turn off the working part of our brain, or should we always be reading critically? And the answer to that question is I don't know. But I do know that even when I am still trying to read as a reader, I am still analyzing things. My friend Ande brought up a really good point when we were FaceTiming the other day, that once you train your brain to do something, it is nearly impossible for it not to do that thing anymore. I think of it sort of like when you get a job and then you go to that job with friends and then you get to sort of share these little insider secrets. And I don't think reading the new Hunger Games is going to really influence my work in any sort of way unless I'm actively trying to pick it apart with that in mind. But even the books that I do pick up to read with the hopes that I'll learn something, I still don't really see that mimicked in my writing. Sure, I might remember that the author had a really good understanding of horses or had really fun character banter, but really I think what I'm seeing is what I've already learned just being executed successfully or unsuccessfully. Hold on, the puppy wants inside. And I think a really good example of this is the tone promise that Sanderson mentions in his lecture series. 9 times out of 10, if I do not like a book or I DNF it, it is because it's not what I was expecting from the opening chapter, or the author didn't alter the promise so that the readers could feel satisfied. Hi, buddy. Hi. You want to say hi? What do you have to say to the camera? Very well said. Oh. Okay, we have a buddy. Honestly, I don't know where I left off with that little tangent. Basically, I was trying to say that the tone promise is a really good tool to use, and I notice it a lot in books now that I've trained myself to notice it, and it's something that I'm very conscious of in my writing and other people's writing. But tangent aside, and based on my personal experience, I don't think it is necessary to always read critically. And I don't think that you should feel the pressure to do that if it's not something you want to do. Long story short, there is no right way to write a book. I think what's more important is staying curious and working through the process. And if you want to pick up a book, that's great. You could read it as a writer and take notes and discuss it with your writer friends. And you could also go back and read it as a reader and discuss it with your reader friends. And I guarantee you, they're not going to have the same opinion on it. And it's kind of what you do with that opinion and that advice that helps you get better as a writer. Okay, thank you for listening to my little spiel and hanging out with me for a few days while I read. It was really fun. And let me know in the comments below if you liked this video. It is the first that I've done like it, but I'm willing to do more. If you had fun, please consider liking and subscribing. And if you want to fuel my dream, you can buy me a virtual coffee over on my Ko-fi page. I will see you all in the next one. Happy writing.